not that one. Back. Come on. Why is it not wanting to work here? Come on. Okay. Man, this shirt. Okay. So. Hope everybody's had a better week than I had. I've been sick this week. I'm still just a little, not quite myself. I got sick last Saturday, and yeah, I said it's not been a fun week for me. But it's the first time I've been sick all year, so that in itself is good for me. But I've been work on the attractions kind of slowed down this week being sick. I said I put a video over on TikTok showing that, got E-Deck done and planned out. Got the detailed version of it done. Now I'm working on F-Deck. It's a little trickier because there's more rooms. And then, of course, you got the upper level of the theater. Because, the theater takes up G and F deck. Because the floor is sloped. The way theaters are. So it takes up 2 floors. And then making sure that the swimming pool on E deck lines up on F deck where the base of the pool is. Was a real pain in the butt to try to do, but I managed to get it. It took a lot of trial and error, but I was able to finally get it knocked out and done. But yeah, F deck. E deck took the longest, as I said in some of my videos on TikTok. E deck took the longest because I had to do each and every room individually by hand. But once I got, to a certain degree of it, I could start copy and pasting in bulk, and then go back and tweak some of the finer details of each room. Change the occupancy number or how the layout is or something. Or, flip it, orient it differently, But I could get larger chunks of the rooms copied and pasted much faster once they're drawn up. It was just that first deck having to do each and every single room individually. I mean, you have, like well over 100 rooms. So, there's a lot of work to do. I had somebody comment on Facebook asking about financing, how financing's going. I'm still trying to get a hold of JP Morgan. I haven't been able to do. They haven't responded to my emails yet. So if they don't respond, as much as I would love to work with JP Morgan Chase Bank, since JP Morgan himself was a financer in the original Titanic, keep that little bit of history alive there. If they don't want to respond, they don't want to work, I'll look at moving to a different bank, perhaps, but, I wanted to start with them because of that history that was involved with everything. I'm trying to also get a hold of Macy's about having Macy's furnish the attraction. All of the bedding, pillowcases, pillows, the sheets, linens, towels, dishes, silverware, everything like that that's needed for the attraction for day-to-day use. I'm looking at trying to see about getting a hold of Macy's, since Isidore and Ida Strauss were, the founders of Macy's, and then they went and, passed away on the Titanic. It's, because, Ida didn't want to leave Isidore's side while the ship was sinking and everything, even though she was offered a spot in the boats. Really, cat? It scared my cat to death. That was funny. She has to wait right till I'm doing this, then get into stuff. Cats. But yeah, like I said, I'm trying to see about getting a hold of Macy's, and, because I know Macy's did have a little memorial plaque at their headquarters in New York for Isidore and Ida. So they know the history, they all of that. So, I figured maybe they would want to help, be a part of this. I've still not heard back from Branson. Mary Kellogg, the owner's wife, sent me an email a while back saying, "We are interested, we'll reach back out to you," and then I've not heard back yet. So I don't know what's going on with Branson. I've sent a follow-up email to him. Tried to answer a lot of the basic questions that pretty much everybody has when I talk to him, what the City of Columbia had, what EM Group had. Tried to answer all those questions right off the bat, but I've not heard back yet. I've not heard back from EM Group since our meeting either. I've sent another follow-up to them to see, but I've not heard back from them either. It's, things go so far and then they slow down. Then they go so far again and then slow back down. It's a lot of work, but I'm committed to making sure to see it through. I'm not giving up. If something doesn't work, I will just change routes and go a different way, find a different way. I've got got some personal stuff going on right now outside of all of this that, if it goes the way I'm hoping, then hopefully, hope and pray, I will get the money, a little bit of money that could work towards doing some stuff with this attraction. Like setting up the real website, the full website, all of that. But it's just, But yeah, like I said, there's just so much stuff in here to do and everything. Yeah, see, then it goes right up against the board. Trying to work out some of these deck plans here a minute. Because I'm on F deck now. Since I moved the aft staircase, I got rid of the grand staircase. I mean, the upper normal part of it from A deck down to C deck is there still. But because of where that's located in the ship, I decided to do away with the extension that would have gone all the way to the bottom. and instead I'm just using the aft second class entrance at the aft end of the boat deck, which goes from boat deck all the way down to F deck normally. So I've only really got to extend it down one more deck. And that one actually comes with its own elevator as well. So you'll have the 3 elevators up at the front with the forward staircase, which goes from boat deck all the way to G deck. And then you will have a 4th elevator at the aft end, which will go from the boat deck all the way down to G deck. So it's fully handicap accessible. The place will be fully handicap accessible and everything. But, yeah, like I said, there's so many little details to have to get knocked out and everything that it can be pretty tricky. I said I've got the vast majority of the rooms on F deck put in already. My next trick, though, is I'm going to try, at least. I need to... One, I got to check the occupancy numbers for F deck to make sure I have all the rooms put in the proper way. You know, so that I'm... Now, here on the forward end of F deck, I had to add a pair of 2-person single rooms in the middle of the ship, where E deck only had 2-person rooms and then 2 single 1-person single rooms off the elevators. F deck has 5, 3 2s and 2 1s. And so I had to add another. So I got that put in. I got the base of the pool put in. Like I said, that one took some while to get lined up properly. And I'm starting to put in the theater now. But slowly, it's coming together. Very slowly. Okay. When I'm in between, some people do that when people are fighting. Me, when I'm fighting or other people are fighting, if I start crying, then something bad's about to happen. Ooh, dang, a lot of sirens. Sounds like fire truck. But yeah, if I'm in the middle of a fight and I start crying, then something bad's about to happen. But everybody reacts differently in fights and arguments, and I don't do a lot of the fighting and confrontation as much as I did when I was younger. Now that I'm getting older, it's not me. I don't do that stuff as much like I used to. It's not for me anymore. I said, when I was younger, I've been known to take, I would take any advantage I could get. Weapons, whatever it was. But not anymore. Ooh, they stopped pretty close, too. Yeah, but, yeah, 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 that's it. I'm trying to figure out ways to get this. Like I told the city of Columbia when we had my meeting with them back in August, I know how ambitious this project is. It would be, it's gonna be a monumental undertaking. Nothing like this has ever been done before. You know, I there's no grand illusions. I'm not delusional on the scope of this thing. I know how big this project is. I know how ambitious this project is. But, and I know that right now, especially in this stage, there's still a lot of skepticism and doubt because people like Palmer have let fans down, extensively before. Promised the Titanic 2 and then failed on that one. And then, of course, like I've said before, you've got the Chinese Titanic, which has stalled out again. But I think if we could pass these first few hurdles and get to an area where real physical work is documented and can be shown and all of that, and they get the media, get it out into the news, get public awareness, get it, all of that, then it can really start skyrocketing and really start taking off and getting much more support and everything. Yeah, those two failed ships. Yeah, it's... I always said if Cameron had just built the real ship when he was making his movie, which to build the real Titanic in the mid-90s would have been a lot less money than he actually spent to make the movie anyway. If he would have just spent the money and built the real ship, we could have had her. Fans could have had it this entire time. But he didn't do that. So. But, I actually did email his Cameron's production company. I forget, but at one point a while back, and he wished me good luck on it, but said that his company doesn't get involved with projects like this, which kind of sucked, because as much as I love Cameron's films, he's an amazing filmmaker, but Titanic wise, I'm not big on his takes on Titanic. But if I could have got him on board, we really could have took off with this thing. If I knew how to get a hold of DiCaprio or Winslet, maybe even, or any of the actors, really. Billy Zane played Cal. He's getting to be a very popular character right now. If I could even just get him talking about the project, an offhand comment in an interview or something, it would do a lot for the project. It's just trying to get it all done. I got a friend on Facebook that his whole thing has always been to, working with celebrities and everything, and getting, hooking people up with celebrities for meet and greets and stuff like that, and hosting events and all of that. And I don't know if he would know a way to get a hold of any of them or what. But yeah, it's, man, tell you what, ever since being sick this week, man, my mouth is dry as can be. My mouth is just dry as can be right now. But I said, hopefully, now that I'm really feeling better, I can get back into these plans and get them going, get them finished. So they're coming together slowly, nicely. Says if only. Yeah, I got one of my followers on TikTok. She has a huge thing for Cal. I don't understand. There seems to be a large growing movement of women who have this thing for Cal and think that he's the victim and stuff, and it's like same thing with all these women out here that talk about they want a relationship like Joker and Harley Quinn. It's like, no, you don't, dude. He is an abusive, manipulative, and she has Stockholm Syndrome. That is not a relationship you want. And yeah, they just... Sometimes I don't know how women could want that kind of crap. But yeah, like I said, there's this whole big new movement now apparently growing that of women who think Cal was the victim and Rose was the bad guy, and they want to, and they want relationships like Cal or whatever. It's crazy. Oh. Alright. Didn't sleep very well last night. Anyway. But yeah, that's the I'll put my cup back over there for a minute. Yeah, this book, if you don't have this book right here, I would recommend finding it. It took me a little bit to actually find me a copy of it. I got this one a few years ago. It's got a lot of really good information. Like they got schematics on like how the engines work, how the pistons move, the layout of the engines. They have an entire section in here. Find it here. On lifeboats. They even have an entire section right here on how to actually build your own lifeboats. How the lifeboats were built. How this one factory, I guess in the UK, still builds full-size lifeboats exactly as they were. They have a section on davits, how the davits worked. I mean, the boilers, different parts of the boiler, what each part was, how each part worked, what it did. Yeah, we got the steering gear in here, how the steering gear works. It's just there's a nice shot of the swimming pool. Well, this isn't the swimming pool. This isn't the pool from the this was this swimming pool, probably the Olympic, if not the actual Adriatic, as it says here. It says here that the first swimming pool was installed on the Adriatic, so that might be the Adriatic. That might actually be the Olympic. It doesn't say specifically. It's got a lot of interior shots from the Olympic, most of them from the Olympic. But here's one really cool piece. This is the at the aft end of the ship. The two wing propellers and then the center propeller came right through here, and this was a piece of framework in the stern that housed everything. A large piece of, give you an idea of what kind of stuff was there. The aft propeller bracket weighed 73 3/4 tons. Now, of course, the attraction won't have anything like that. You know, where you don't, because it's not going to be an actual ship or anything. I have an option where there are propellers and a full rudder, and the aft end has a bit of like a dry dock where you can kind of see it all. But to save money, save time, I've kind of eliminated that one on the current model in order to try to do things a little faster and save a little money right now. Here's some of the casings. That's from Titanic's condensers. There's one of the Olympics big condensers. I said this thing's got a lot of good. The manually operated ash hoist was used mainly when the ship was alongside in port. How they loaded coal into the ship. That's in here. And then they have the ash injectors that go through the ship. The ash ejectors, I should say, come take the ash out from inside. Dump the side of the ship. The anchors and the chains and how they were produced. Yeah, they got so yeah, like I said, I would highly recommend the Haynes Owner's Workshop Manual on the Titanic. it's really good read. They get really detailed in a lot of the mechanical specifics of Titanic and how she was built and everything. But yeah, I said with I said I'm still working on get these last few rooms put out on F deck here, and then I need to double check all the occupancies. I can already tell you there's some of these, like this one's reading a 2-bedroom from E deck, and I think it needs to be a 1 on F here. But I need to change out some of these. Yeah, F deck is, I said, zoom out a little bit here. I said, do it this way, it's easier. I don't know how well you can see that, but yeah, it's coming together slowly. I said, I've got videos on my TikTok about it. I'm trying to get it knocked out. I'm also trying to clean up the measurement tool that lies down the center of the ship, which the website doesn't do it properly. It's the weirdest measurement tool, but slowly it's slowly starting to come together, though. But so I'm gonna have to move that wall there, because that's be weird shaped rooms. So I'm gonna slide those walls back a bit on this floor, change that a bit. Like I said, I still got to do the front of these rooms up here at the forward end, and then I still got a bit to erase on the forward and aft end so I could put in the new stuff. But very slowly it's coming together. I'm just, I said, having been sick this week, I can't really have a hard time really focusing on it right now. I'm I'm feeling better, but I'm still just not myself, and it's just, I'm honestly, I'm like really tired right now as we speak. Of course, it doesn't help. My cat kept me up all last night. No, not COVID. I ain't around nobody for that. I just had some weird bug last week. It lasted a few days, and no, so I'm not really around anybody for COVID. I've been around people with COVID. I still haven't caught it. I've got natural antibodies for that. I don't. I'm just. Oh. I said it's just some little stomach bug for But no, I never got the double. I got the original first shot. I got the J&J one and done. But I never got any of the boosters. I've never done. I just the one shot. That was it. I never did anything else. I just. I said, but yeah, uh, but yeah, I said that's just. Man. So don't help. It's starting to cool off here finally, and it gets cold at night. And my cat decided last night. She always waits right till I'm ready to actually go to sleep, and then she comes in there and jumps up in bed and wants up under the covers and stomps around the bed and tries to unplug my phone and gets into my glass of water, and right when I'm trying to go to sleep, that's when I need to start getting up and watching her, make sure she stays out of crap. Oh yeah, FDEC's got. See, one of the big differences between E and FDEC is E deck, when you come in off the grand staircase at the forward end, it's an open foyer all the way to the outer hall. Where on F deck, it's not. It's much smaller. You have rooms all the way down the side of the ship. It don't extend all the way out like it does on E deck. And then, of course, E deck has the curved staircase that the grand staircase is known for, where F deck just has a standard, the normal base of the staircase. And then G deck has a little, can't think of the damn name of it now. Like a little auxiliary staircase kind of thing, like a little service staircase, if you will, that it doesn't really count as part of the grand staircase, but it does extend down one more deck. And on the original, it went from E down to F deck, but I've extended everything one floor. So instead of the base of the staircase that was on E deck is now on F deck, and what went from F deck down to, or what went from E deck down to F deck now goes from F deck down to G deck. And everything. And of course, the elevators always stopped at E deck, so I've extended those 2 floors to F and G deck. But I've actually technically extended those 3 floors because they're also going to go up to the boat deck just off of the forward of the grand staircase, just across from the Marconi room area, is where the original elevator motors were. They were housed inside there. But I'm actually going to bring the elevators all the way up to there now, so you can come all the way up to the boat deck with those. And luckily, it ain't really going to affect the visual appeal of the ship, because with modern technology, you can do, uh, you can you can do, this, what's it called? In shaft. It's this new elevator system where all the mechanics are housed inside the shaft to the elevator itself. So it can be much more compact and everything. So there's not going to need to be like an additional like housing up on top of the boat deck for the motors. You don't need all of that. And that's actually very rare for them to actually break. When they do, typically they have this little centrifugal brake that when it that will spin and just kind of open and just kind of stops it dead, so you don't get that whole free fall thing like they show in the movies. There's all kinds of safety mechanisms and brakes and stuff in there that really doesn't. It's elevators, break, everything breaks down. Things need repair. Everything's going to need a repair at some point, but typically when an elevator breaks down, you're just kind of stuck on whatever floor the elevator was on. You don't really fall anywhere. I've been in elevators that kind of don't want to operate properly. I've never gotten stuck in one or anything, but I've been in them that they don't like to operate properly. I've had them where they've, instead of lining up on the floor like this, they're kind of like that or something, or like the doors don't open all the way. I've had some of that kind of stuff, but for the most part, it's, that whole idea of one just falling all the way down, unless unless it was something like 9/11 and something cut all the cables to the elevator car. And even then, even if all the cables were cut, again, you still have those little centrifugal force brakes that will spin and then open up and lock itself. So, you might fall 1 or 2 floors, but it'll catch itself before you get too far down. But, yeah, Now the elevator, the lawyer I hired here a few weeks ago, the elevator at his office, that thing was old as crap. That thing was easily from the 20s or 30s. It was that old, and I mean the doors didn't stay open for anything. You barely got onto it before the doors were already closing on you. It was a pain in the butt. I am surprised the city hasn't upgraded that elevator yet. Yeah, it was just... I could have seen the elevator in this building. I could imagine that being an elevator in like the Olympic at the end of her life. If that's what, they styled them like. I could see it. You didn't have the actual crank like you did in the Olympic and Titanic elevators. You would have, in the original elevators on Titanic, you had the manual up and down crank, and you had a service person, a little like bellboy, a steward or whatever there that stayed inside the elevator to do that and everything. Which those will probably be one of the jobs I'll I haven't decided if I actually, Of course, trying to keep the authentic experience to some extent. But that part, I've not decided if I really want to keep it authentic or if I just want to go ahead and upgrade to push button. Oh shoot, the hospital here where I'm from, university, they're always that. I mean, the place was built back in like the 50s, and they're always working on the elevators and stuff around there. I don't even begin to count how many elevators are in that building. There, you got two out by the garage when you first come in, get you to one of the three main four main floors. Basement, first, second, or third. Then you have the east elevators and the west elevators. Each one of them has three public elevators. The west elevators have a crew-only elevator. Then there's service elevators behind the west elevators that have two more elevators in those. Then there's two or three down in the midmost section. You got another two or three over in the new Ellis Fischel area. Not to mention all the back service elevators deep inside the building. I mean, there's a ton of elevators in that hospital. There's one elevator, I do not remember which elevator it was, but there's one elevator that, at least back in the 90s, you had to go to this one specific elevator and then take it down to the basement just to get to this one doctor's office. There was like no stairs or anything to go down there. And it was the weirdest thing. But I do not remember what doctor that was, or where that office is, or where that elevator's even at now. I do not remember at all. But like I said, I remember you'd take the elevator, you'd go down. When you'd get off, the doctor was straight across. You could take the hallway this way to the right, and it would take you around to some, like, x-rays and stuff like that. On the floor, no, there's not really any tiles. The university has those big carpet tiles is what they use at the university. They're like 2 foot by 2 foot. And if one gets damaged, you just pull it up, put another one in. It's tile, but it's carpet tile. But no. On the Titanic, though, they had what they considered the latest and greatest flooring of the time, linoleum. That was the flooring on Titanic, especially around the grand staircase. I mean, we think of it as such a cheap flooring today, but back then that was the height of luxury. So yeah, that one always trips me out. I mean, to do linoleum in the attraction, that would save a ton of money. Just to have it printed up, just have a big, what you need printed up, basically, and throw it out. And it's one way to do it. But yeah, of course, there were some areas, that had the tiles, like, you had those little, like red and green, or red and yellow, and then green, and there's like 3 different styles of those little, about 6 inch by 6 inch, I think. little ceramic tile with a little cross pattern in it. But yeah, I said the flooring's gonna be one of the really fun ones to work on, is figuring out. It's one reason why I'm really wanting to get a computer that could handle it, because my computer doesn't have the processing power right now to handle. But to get the 401 demo, Honor and Glory, use it for a reference for how it would visually look. Of course, I want to, incorporate Honor and Glory into the actual like VR room where you can actually play the game. That's if they ever actually finish the game. I know there's a lot of people I've talked to that don't think they're ever going to finish it, and personally, I'm one of them. I think they're only ever going to release demos. I mean, they're amazing demos. The amount of work they've put in is absolutely amazing. The amount of detail they've put into figuring out some of the smallest little things that we, detailed parts that we never really knew about. I know on their YouTube here years ago, they did a video. There's as you come down, I think it's B deck, as you're headed towards the Parisian Cafe, there's a very long hallway. And at the end of the hallway, right before you get into the cafe, there's a coat rack built into the wall, kind of sunk into the wall a little bit. And they went to extensive research to figure out the exact type of hooks that were used in that area and everything. And just the amount of detail that they did is amazing. And so, I'd like to use them for reference for bringing it to life in the real world, but I would also like to have them be a part of the VR room where you could play the game. Like you could tour the Britannic, because they've got a model of the Britannic as well. And the Olympic, I think, and a couple other ships, I think, actually. I think they're working on a few others. But you could go through the sinking simulation in VR if you wanted, and everything. But I said, I need to get a computer that has a lot better computing power, because that thing takes a lot of power to do. And my little laptop is old and doesn't do that anymore. My poor Sweet Home 3D architecture software, if I put too much stuff in, it crashes because it can't even take all that data. Yeah, I know Honor and Glory has real-time syncing videos of the Titanic and Britannic both on their channel, I do believe. I know they've got Titanic. They show that one every year. But I'm pretty sure they did one on Britannic in the 55 minutes, that it took to sink. I know they've got videos on Britannic. They show Britannic as she would have been as a passenger liner if she had made that to that stage, and as she was as a hospital ship. And man, the difference between the two is just, holy cow. She was stripped down so much. Between the two, it was... But... Anyway, I think I'm gonna go for now. I got some other stuff to do, and I'm going to. I will. Hopefully, I'm feeling even better next week, and when I come back, and hopefully I can get some stuff to happen this week too, and have news next week, something fun to share. But I said until then, until next week, I said, like I say every week, like and subscribe here if you're not already. Follow on TikTok if you don't already, and like and follow on Facebook as well. Said my birthday is 10 days from today, and I want to see how close to 1,000 followers I can get on TikTok before my birthday. I know I can't hit 1,000. That'd be awesome, but I know I can't. I've never been able to get those kind of numbers that fast. But yeah, I would like to see within the next, just 10 days from today is my birthday. So I would like to see how close I can get by my birthday. So until, next week, I said I'm trying to work on doing actual videos again, but so far I've not really had any good subject matter to do. But I will hopefully see more and more people in here next week. So until then.